guys. Welcome to the Safari Arie Road Show. We got Arie here with us, and it's been a few weeks since we actually sat down with him and asked him about, where he's at, what's going on in his ride, and stuff of that nature. So, Arie, how's it going?
It's good actually. I'm on Vancouver Island, so I'm actually really happy
Okay.
to actually be moving. I was in Vancouver for quite some time, like
Hmm.
2 weeks, which was definitely I don't know, like Vancouver was an awesome experience, but then it was like definitely I was in Vancouver for way too long.
Hmm.
Um, I think maybe what I'll do is I'll just cue that up because when we're done this show, we're gonna do one of our talk shows,
Right. Yeah.
and maybe what
Expand on that
yeah, expand on that whole, yeah, just we'll just
for
shoot a
sure.
cut or whatever they call it, shoot the breeze about that. But yeah, no, like Vancouver, like, so I was there for about 2 weeks. The first week was pretty crazy, pretty hectic,
Hmm.
constantly just meeting new people almost on a daily basis. And then I was able to get my bike back from the bike shop. And then so um, I had actually had, and I don't think, because I was actually just listening to the last show to
Yeah.
kind of get a reference to what did we talk about last time, like where was I at. And so I actually had I guess childhood friend from back in Ontario
Right.
just reach out randomly. He's like, "Hey, me and the family, we moved to Coquitlam, and
Hmm.
so anything you need, if there's a place to stay, all that kind of stuff." And I was just like, I hadn't seen the guy in like 25 years,
Wow.
kind of deal. And it's funny because it actually turned out I found out after the fact that he's actually been following the bike ride from the beginning.
Oh, no kidding.
And so yeah, so he knew I was in Vancouver, and he reached out and said, "Yeah, me and my family we live in Coquitlam now." And and then I had a friend in Langley to visit. And then I actually had, through my Salmon Arm host, Salmon Arm BC,
Yeah.
I had someone reach out in White Rock. So basically, I got my bike, and so on, I don't know, some Monday, I forget how many Mondays ago, because I have no idea what day it is even
Yeah.
today. But on the Monday morning, I left Vancouver and I went to Coquitlam, and I stayed with the Illmans. Uh, Graham and Karen Millman and their kids.
Right.
And anyways, I stayed with them Monday night, and then Tuesday morning I went to Langley. I visited with my friends, or my friend, friend, and then actually, so then I headed for White Rock to go there for the evening. And actually, on my way to, and I should, you know what, I'm going to see if I can open this quickly enough. On my way to White Rock, I did a CBC interview,
Right.
radio interview, um, with Gloria Makarenko. Yeah, Gloria Makarenko. Um, I guess she's actually a little bit semi-famous in Vancouver, like
Hmm.
pretty well known.
Yeah.
And she must, because it's funny because I think they had told me it'd be like a 7-minute interview,
Yeah.
and usually media is pretty, you
Pretty
know,
tight. Yeah.
and it actually went for like 11 minutes.
Oh, nice.
It's actually, if you Google her in Safari Arie, the interview actually comes up on the on the interwebs.
Hmm.
But literally, the second that interview was over, like actually people were messaging me
Oh,
that they
wow.
heard the interview kind of deal,
Oh, that's cool.
and I actually got an invite for another host here on Vancouver Island,
Yeah.
at a place called Yellow Point, which is just um, so I'm in Qualicum Beach, and then if you go kind of, I guess, towards Victoria, I guess that's sort of southeast or whatever, you've
Yeah.
got Nanaimo, and then you've got a place called Yellow Point somewhere along the shore, and then you head towards Victoria.
Cool.
So anyways, yeah, so I got a host invite through the radio interview. And so anyways, so it was really cool. So then, yeah, so then I spent the evening in White Rock,
Right.
and the next day, Patty took me around the city. It's actually a really cool city. Like, it's right on the shoreline.
Right.
It has Canada's largest pier
Right.
there. And then we did fish and chips. And then I got back on the bike and made my way to Vancouver. And
Cool.
so I was in Vancouver for almost another week. Admittedly, that kind of dragged out. See, what happened was when I kind of arrived, shortly after I arrived in Vancouver, there was tons of forest fires in Washington.
Right.
So the whole place was just, you couldn't see anything,
Oh,
like
really?
nothing.
Hmm.
And so I kind of had to wait for that smoke to clear before I could visit a few of the places and take some photos and all that,
Yeah.
this and that. So,
Wow.
but admittedly, like kind of I'm on a bike, so the idea is to keep moving.
Yeah.
And so being in a city for 2 weeks, actually a little bit dragged out, and there were some other things, but we're going to talk about that later. So it was really good. Like, so I left Vancouver Island 2 days ago, and it was the first day that I had been rained on since July 5th.
Yeah.
Like, crazy enough, like since I left my last day in Ontario, July 5th, I had to check the date. That was the last day that I actually got rained on, like as
Wow.
far as like soaked.
Yeah.
And, but it was like, so yeah, I woke up in the hostel and it was pouring rain, and it's like, I don't care. I'm getting on the road. And so pedaled to the ferry, completely soaked, all good, no problems.
Yeah.
And then anyways, took the ferry to Nanaimo. So I took the Horseshoe Bay ferry to Nanaimo. And then I actually had a host who actually was the guy, Chris, who recognized me in Jasper. Back in when I was in Jasper, Alberta, I was recognized by these two guys that were biking Calgary to Nanaimo. And so, yeah, so I was able to stay at his place, not last night, the night before, which was super cool. It was actually kind of a surreal moment. It was like, dude, do you realize, like, you recognized me in Jasper, which is crazy to be recognized.
Yeah.
And now I'm in your living room. Like, it just like, it was such a like, wow, like that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And so, and then yesterday was just a short ride. I went from Nanaimo to Qualicum Beach. It's like 35 kilometers. Right. And the crazy thing about the host I'm at right now is this is actually the only host I had on my first bike ride in 2011. Mm-hmm. This family, excuse me, they lived in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Okay. And my laptop crashed on that bike ride. Yeah. And my uncle, this family actually, the husband's a truck driver, and he worked for my uncle. And so through my uncle, I was able to connect with this family in Grand Prairie while I got my laptop sorted out. And that was my only host for the entire ride. Yeah. And today, well, last night, they are my 52nd host on this ride. So if people ask me about like the whole hosting thing, like I had no concept of it, because I went from like one host because my laptop crashed to 52 so far. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so the whole hosting thing was like right over my head, not even a concept, nothing. And so anyways, they had since relocated, moved to Vancouver Island, and they reached out because of course they're following the ride, and they said, hey, we live in Qualicum Beach. And so it's just amazing after 9 years to be able to reconnect with them. Yeah, no, and so, yeah, just crazy. So basically later on today, I'm going to head towards Tofino, because there's all the temperate rainforest and all that. I'm very excited about heading to along that shoreline because of those temperate rainforests. I can't wait. Yeah. But probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably spend a few days out there. Yeah. And then I'm actually going to make my way back here because likely I'll have a couple hundred photos to edit. And so I'll come back here and I'll do my editing. And then from here, then I'll make my way towards Victoria, which would be my Canadian finish.
Right on.
So yeah, that's kind of where things sit.
Cool. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to leave you with one more question because I'm wondering it, and I'm sure a lot of people are. When are you planning to enter the United States?
You're supposed to set me up for that. Like, you didn't even like,
you've reached the farthest that you'll go in Canada, right?
Well, I'm close. Like, I'm going to head to Tofino's, like, I think approximately like I think it's 170 kilometers to Tofino. And so the first time I actually biked out this way, because I have biked this on Vancouver Island in 2011, but I kind of rushed the whole Tofino area. I think I was a little bit tired of the rain. But that's the thing is now I realize it's like, okay, Vancouver Island just rains, period. Like, deal with it. Like, so I'm actually going to sort of take my time out that way. Yeah. And so, okay, so if it takes me 2 days to get out there, maybe I'll spend 2 or 3 days there, and then it'll be 2 days back here. So that's over a week. I might spend maybe 2 days here. And then like I said, I have another host, and I'm going to go Victoria. And then what I'm going to do is because I actually was was able to reconnect, I think, with a friend from way back in Vancouver. I
Mm-hmm.
was waiting for him to message me, and he finally messaged me, actually on my way to the ferry. Um, so, between, I'm going to say between 2 and 3 weeks
Okay.
is when I'll um, fly. Because actually, on my way to the ferry, I stopped by this bike shop because he
Mm-hmm.
had actually reached out and said, "Hey, if you can stop by," and it's like, "Of course I can."
Right.
So I stopped off at this bike shop called the Bike Doctor, and he's actually able to help me with the bike box to
Oh, cool.
fly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to Vancouver, but probably only for a few days. Basically, it's like when I get to Vancouver, um, as quickly as I can, probably try to arrange that flight. Now, that being said, I just realized a couple days ago I ordered a U.S. Visa card,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, yeah, it'll take 2 to 4 weeks to get delivered. I'm like,
Hmm.
and it's like, and I just ordered it like 2 days ago,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, it better not be 4 weeks. But I don't know. I'm actually expecting a call any day because it's like they
Yeah.
say 2 to 4 weeks, but I cannot believe it takes 2 to 4 weeks to ship a Visa card to a bank
Yeah. No
branch.
kidding.
So that's the one thing, is I am sort of waiting for a U.S. Visa card. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm hoping 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Between 2 and 3 weeks
Sounds
max.
good.
That's
Awesome.
the plan.
Well, that's
And it's funny
exciting.
because I was just talking to my host about like what if they actually don't even let you in? I was like, oh, I never even thought about that. I haven't even thought about that. But anyways,
They're gonna have to
we're not
adopt
going to
you.
worry about that. We're not going to worry about that. At
No.
the very least, that'll make a very interesting show.
Yeah. Well, right on. All right. Well, we'll cut it off here, and hope you guys will tune in next week or whenever we do this next. So
Yeah.
thanks for joining us. Thank you, Ari,
Yeah.
and we'll catch y'all later. Take care.
Later. Yep.